It's not visible.
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay. Okay, a very good afternoon, rather a very good evening to the members, panelists, and the mentors. So, my idea of startup is access home food. So, we see that a good amount of working professional moving out of their hometown and state in search of better working opportunities, and many a times what they lack is in cooking skills, especially in case of men. So what happens is they end up consuming food which may not actually be their taste and preference, right? So uh, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen this Zomato booming, and people spend a good amount of money via ordering online food. So what happens is they may get food by by ordering online via Zomato, but it ends up creating good amount of hole in their pocket, and that thing is not sustainable in the long run. So we see a business opportunity in a sense that we'll try to match up two key players over here. So one is of course the consumer. I mean, that person who has moved out of his comfort zone, that is his home, in search of better opportunities. And secondly, we will try to reach out to those homemakers who do have a good amount of spare time in the afternoon and in the small amount of morning period. So they, instead of idling away their time, they will devote their time, in making those food stuff, and which would be passed on to these working professionals who don't have good amount of time to dedicate for cooking, and in fact are not certain to order from outside. So these are the two market segments we are gonna add this. So basically, we will be going to act as an agent connecting these two segments, right? So basically, these are the two customers we are aiming at. So the solution, what I decided is, like, in case of this person who moves out of his hometown, initially he is not aware of the surroundings. I mean, the new place he is in. So he may find himself in trouble while ordering from outside places. So what happens is, at times he may not get the best of food, and of course this may lead to various kind of health ailments, right? But when he orders from this platform, what happens is, there is a taste of home food which he gets. And given the kind of study we have conducted, uh, it is easily with pocket friendly, in the sense that what happens is, instead of relying on this Zomato and this canteen food for an elongated period of time, he can just continue with this process. So in this segment, what I believe is, we do face a kind of competition from the existing aggregators such as Zomato and Swiggy, and also via the food aggregators who supply food directly to the customer, and of course the fast food centers. And to rise up to the business model, the main idea which I have is, we'll create an app. Now, this app will try to link these two people out there. So, we'll of course do the scanning of the vendors out there who are willing to supply food on at a reasonable cost to the customer. So, what will happen is, we will do a thorough screening of that, like, if they have a good kind of internal control in place, and a good kind of procurement to ensure that there is no stoppage in delivery of food. Also, to reach out to customer, initially the idea in my mind is to give incentive in the by way of referrals, like first one or two orders may be free. So what happens is, the product, or rather the this thing gets spread. So instead of focusing on the margin in the initial days, we'll try to focus on in terms of volume. And one basic thing in this idea is the fact of trust. So trust, in the sense that people should try to relate my brand with a sense of trust, because in today's food industry, what happens is there's a lot of adulteration. People, even even when they shell out good amount of money, they end up getting adulterated food. So there is lack of trust. So we'll try to bring in this element of trust, and trust is something which doesn't happen in a day. Trust and sense of integrity develops over a period of time. And so for that to happen, of course, it's a very long process, but we'll keep a check on the vendors who will be supplying food to to this customer group. And there's one more thing, the delivery thing, which is a area of concern in our side, and to address that, we'll try to put emphasis on the self pickup, in a sense that when someone arrives from his office to his home, he may, instead of directly going to his home, pick up the food packet from that pickup centers which we'll be having. And in case that's not possible, we'll try to tie up with certain delivery people out there, so that they could send food directly to the houses of these people. But initially, we'll try to tie up with these delivery people. But later on, as the business grow, we'll aim at having our own delivery centers to address this problem. So, to conclude, I would say that this model acts as a bridge between these two people. Of course, one is first the customer who wants to have a home taste when he eats food, and of course, the second is we will specifically targeting the homemakers who do have a good amount of spare time on offer during the afternoon and a little bit of morning period. So instead of simply idling away that time, they could ensure that they could make a good amount of margin by scaling up their business. So this business model will operate in a sense that out of every order which is initialized, will keep our part, our commission, let's say somewhere around 1 or 2%, and we may even forego that commission for the sake of scaling up our business for the initial days. So my part is tying up with the people, I mean the vendors, and reaching out to the customers, and of course that would be made via the app-based platform. And this is how I intend to go ahead with my business idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
तनिष, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
Yes, sir.
या आनंद शुक्ला जी के लिए कोई कुछ कहना चाहेगा?
Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Anand, for the business presentation. I request Nitin Goyal ji कि वो उनको suggestions दे and what are their insight towards the project. Thank you. Over to you, Nitin sir.
Anand, to start with, I found it very fantastic idea. Seriously, it's a good one. While thinking, generally what we say कि startup क्या होना चाहिए, identification problem, उसका solution, and you did it in a very good way. You have identified a problem. Now you have the solution for that as well. And I think good start with to solve that problem. That meeting two guys together. One is the customer and another is a vendor. That's a good one. And I think it's correct to say that the delivery and that would be an area of concern for you to start with. And I think delivery would be an area of cost as well. It won't be kind of free. You may be giving away your commission, which is or something like that, but the delivery has its own cost. To start with, I would suggest that in case whenever you start or you will work, you can think around it, just making a tie-up with some other local persons, such as like courier guys. That if it is in a local vicinity area, there's small local courier shops, not a big one. The branded one may not be like to attach with you guys, but to start with some local shops who have their persons available to deliver the couriers in your nearby areas, that kind of stuff. And as the other moderator or the panelists said, particularly Anuj and Dhruv, they said that you can just start and think to work on this corrective mode. I think to start with, you can just try to find out some localities where the commercial areas, the people, the working hubs, and the nearby residential area, जहाँ पर ये दोनों एक साथ हो, थोड़े close proximity में हो. If you are from Delhi, you would be aware of something like Lakshmi Nagar type का area, जहाँ पर you will find a both commercial and residential mix. And but to start with, it will help you that your vendor and your customer are in almost in the same place, in the same vicinity area. In that case, you can have some delivery there, or you can self pickup again can work on that side. So to start with, it's a good area. I think you should develop this to and take it away, take it ahead. Oh, sorry, away. Take it ahead and move forward with this and nurture this development area. I don't think, and since it's an app based, and the costing, major cost of food would be a vendor and the be paid by the customer, may not be requiring a huge capital to start with. It's a good to start with on a small scale, somewhere near your area, and I think you should go ahead with this.
इसमें